note.
Let's go.
Oh, hey-o! Welcome everyone to the Heroes World Quarantine Podcast Special Edition. We're here. We've gathered the family together with. You can't see the Coronas, but they're there. There's a clink in the family. There's a clink in the background. Unless you've wronged us somehow, which I won't ask questions about and ban you away for life, then technically, whatever, we're family. Nonetheless, we are gathered here and we waited for all of us to be available to watch Fast 9, and we are here to do our review. I know Andre's been hyped for this for a while. I've been hyped. John's been hyped. Rob's so. So we've been waiting a long time to see this movie. Finally, it's been released to the folks in Canada on both digital release and in the movie theaters. So we figured it's a good time to drop it now that people have actually seen it, and we can go to a full spoiler conversation about not even the last, because there's two more to go.
Two more to go.
Yeah, not even the pinnacle. Yeah.
Was it supposed to drop in 2020 or 2019? Does anyone remember? No one remembers.
Oh God, I think it was supposed to be 2019, summer of 2019, and they.
I thought it was last May. I thought it was May of 2020.
Nonetheless.
I think you're right.
But anyway, so I'm your host, Dupe. With me, as always, are the owners and proprietors of Heroes World in Markham, Ontario. That's Andre and John. Please say hello.
Hi, people.
And of course, our president and Lord of Mischief, Mr. Rob Cadet.
What's going on, Stu? I live my life 100 meters at a time.
2 steps at a time.
Rob can't afford the fast car.
From the kitchen counter to the fridge.
He's actually using scooters around instead.
I'm gonna grab that beer.
I have a
before you grab
Segway.
it.
Yeah,
I have a Segway that motors
he
me
has a
around my
hoverboard.
place.
Back before they would we banned them, but he has a
Right.
hoverboard that he uses, or a hovercraft, or whatever those things.
Hovercraft. I have a giant hovercraft I just maneuver in my house.
So thank you all for joining us. Again, we're going to go into full thoughts and feelings of this movie.
Like a therapy session.
It honestly is. It's going to be a lot of us complaining. Let's be very fair.
No, I can't wait for Andre. I want to see what his excitement level is.
Okay, John, we're going to go with yourself. You have cared about the franchise. You've made us rank vehicles. You made us rank movies. So I need to get your thoughts. What did you like?
We're gonna do it again for this movie, right?
Acting performances.
I think you should give a summary, John.
No summary. There is no summary. This movie.
I don't know if there's a summary that makes sense.
The movie didn't even summarize it properly. I don't think Andre or John or Rob will fix it. It's just an amalgamation of cutscenes. So, John, tell us your thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. So, if you watched any of our previous podcasts, you know Fast and the Furious 1. One of my all-time favorites, as cheesy as it is, exposing the street scene. A lot of car culture things that, as the series progressed, it started to disappear, and it turned more into a popcorn franchise, explosions, movie. Mission Impossible, heist, whatever you want to call it. So overall, I love seeing this cast. So you can't argue with that. The cars, they did actually a really good job. So I'll get deeper into that later. John Cena, I'm a fan of his. I don't know where that happened or why. But I dig the guy. I think he's funny, and I think he's genuine, and he's actually a car guy. So if they bring him back for the next one, I'm in. I wish I could see more of him in this movie. But overall, are we ranking it out of 10?
Not yet.
Here?
No,
okay,
Did you not like anything?
You're
about
jumping off the gun
there.
there.
It was perfect. This film was a masterpiece.
I don't know about masterpiece, but
it's a piece of something.
For the first movie going back into theaters, for us, this is the first movie I've seen since this whole pandemic started. Last thing I saw was Bad Boys for Life, so shout outs to Bad Boys for Life. But I think it was the perfect movie to mount the comeback with. It hit all those notes, and for everything that you expect from this series. So yeah, whatever you're expecting from this, you got it. You know what I mean? So I don't want to go too spoilery because we're going to get to that. So yeah, I would say, you're going to have a good time with this one.
Performances. You were happy with John Cena specifically? Was there anyone else that you dug?
I like John Cena. A couple characters are spoilery, so I'm not going to mention them, but overall, the
To
entire
be fair,
cast.
there are no spoilers because everything's been said in the trailer. So just say what it is.
Okay, so
What's been not been spoiled by every
I
trailer that's come
I
out?
especially like the young version of John Cena's character, who is played by I don't know what his real name is, but he plays Jake in Animal Kingdom, and I actually love him as an actor. I think he's great. I especially love seeing him, and everybody. Bow Wow came back. Everyone came up to me and goes, who was that guy in that? And I was like, that's Bow Wow from Tokyo Drift, and people just I guess don't recognize him or something. And then
He looks a bit different now.
He's
yeah,
gained some weight.
Lucas Black,
He's gained some weight. Yeah.
Yeah. And the return of, obviously you've seen the trailers, the return of Han. So this is the we're missing The Rock, but I was actually okay with it, and I'll get more into like things I liked about it. It made a lot of room for these other original cast members to shine, and if this is their final trilogy together, I think it's good that I know The Rock came out and was like, I'm done with this franchise. I thought that came off as kind of cocky. I think Rock should definitely take a higher ground and that type of stuff. But I feel like he should have said, hey, you know what? It was great to join this, but they're gonna ride this out, and this is the end of their story. And I think that's how you should put this series. This is the end of that original cast story together.
Okay. Rob, give us your thoughts.
It was a piece of shit. So listen, I've made no bones about the fact that I'm not a big fan of this franchise previously. Now, that being said,
How dare you?
Shut the hell up. Part of the Heroes World Sidekick show, we decided to rewatch the first one because it was 20 years from when the first one to this, Fast 9 was coming out. And because of that, we watched the first one for the show, and I think we also watched number 5. I mean, all 4 of us were on, and we discussed number 5. So I ended up watching all of them again, and I actually watched them with my son, who admittedly quite enjoyed them more than he thought he was going to. He was a fan of the Hobbs and Shaw movie. Excuse me. So whatever. So I was like, okay. So
for home begrudgingly, he was like,
Whatever.
I guess I'll maybe watch the other ones. And
he was kind of. Yeah, he was like not really happy. I'm like, come on, you have to watch. He was fine, and he did not want to do it. And then after the first one, he goes, okay, it's not that bad. So we ended up watched them all.
Asked him the follow-up question, do you want to watch another? He's like, I guess I can. And then he goes, when are we gonna watch the other? When are we gonna watch number 4? And I'm like, okay, we're gonna get to it. Shut up. So he was really stoked to see this movie in theaters. So we did. Just a couple weeks ago, and even he came out of the movie and he's like,
earlier in the week, you mean?
Yeah,
a week ago.
It was a week ago. He's like, that's not what I was expecting. I remember when we talked about Fast 5 in our show before, I had said to Andre, I said it and Andre had retorted, and I said, like, when you watch the first movie, it's very hard to kind of get a thorough line between the characters of who they were in the first movie to who they are in number 5. Like, you can tell they've evolved past the point of a natural evolution, but there's still some connective thread. I think that's gone. I actually stand by my argument and apply it to even further now to Fast 9. Are we getting into spoilers or no? Like, are we talking full or
no? Just we'll wait for a
okay.
second.
So all right. So I guess then, just to summarize, because we'll get into it deeper. The absurdity of this movie, like the last 3 or 4 movies, like ever since like 7 and 8, really, they really pushed the boundaries of physics and absurdity. But it was still that kind of like cheesy popcorn, easy to sit down. You get 2 hours, you can watch it. It's guns, it's racing, it hits all the macho notes that you want. But this one is now a parody of itself, in my opinion. So much so that there are characters in this movie who start to question whether or not they have superpowers. That's a problem. They are now, you guys mentioned Mission Impossible in the tongue-in-cheek joke, but this is what they are now. They've even called themselves, like, they're even asking, are we now super secret spy agents? Like,
to be fair, Mission Impossible has rules, physics, and like Tom Cruise, when he gets hit by something, hurts and like he limps and like he feels pain. No one in Fast Furious ever like gets a bruise, a dent or anything. Like,
and they mentioned that though.
They don't really bleed either. Like,
no.
You hear Vin Diesel carry someone, like that scene with Letty, and he jumps off the one thing, and then instead of hitting the ground, he hits the glass of the vehicle, and like normally our backs would be shattered or something.
Sure.
No,
Yeah.
the glass is
Nothing-
one of
nothing.
the
He
softest
just-
parts of the car. though.
yeah.
So if
He
you're
just
about to get
brushes
hit,
it off.
if
He's
you
like, "I got this."
jump up and land on the window, you might be all right.
Let me just say this is that, I was having a discussion about this movie with a friend of mine recently who had saw it, and I said, this reminds me a lot of the Friday the 13th movies.
Mm. That's a good point.
You 1 to 7. There's, first of all, nobody was shutting that damn Camp Crystal Lake down. No government they should have shut that shit down. They never did. But once Jason goes to Manhattan, that was it. You're like, get out of here, man. This is so stupid.
Did he go to Manhattan? He went to space. He went to space.
That was
right?
Jason
That's Jason
10, but
X.
Jason,
That's Jason X.
Jason X. But
Jason X.
in Friday the 13th Part 8, it says Jason takes Manhattan. He ends up in Manhattan. And that it was just too much. I can believe the repetitious camp every summer opening up, and people be like, I wouldn't send my kids if I was a parent there. I wouldn't say, hey, Camp Crystal Lake. The last 7 years have been bad, but I'm sure this year will be great. But I also think though that this is also like what makes Spider-Man, to tie it into comics, a better character is that while he does have the occasional adventure going off, he's he's a street level character. That's what made this movie series, the first part of it, really enticing and fun. It's because they're street level. Now they are stratospheric. And that to me has taken away anything of semblance of fun in that movie, in that franchise. So for me,
All right, Andre. You have been team positive on this. Give us your vibes. Let us know your thoughts.
Well, it's actually kind of funny that Rob, who's watched all the movies, hasn't seen that the movies have been progressing to this, always
ever since the
upping
second one.
ante.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything after 4 has been upping the ante. So if you went into this movie after watching 5 and they dragged a safe around a street and you wanted this movie to make sense, these movies have never made sense. So I'm going to say this: if you liked any of them past 5, you're going to love this one. If you don't, and for some reason you can't suspend your disbelief like Rob, or you cannot follow the progression like Rob of these movies and these characters, then obviously you're not going to go see this movie. But this movie delivers everything that you want from this series, right? And to top it off, we have got characters. John said it. We love these characters. We love to see these actors playing these characters.
Mm-hmm.
These actors are probably pretty tight knit in real life. And let's face it, they lost somebody super close to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't give a shit how they want to bring them back. They could have put Gal Gadot in the next one. I want to see them together, right? I don't care. These are people that, they're like, yeah, we're going to be invincible in this movie because guess what? Real life sucks and you die and they lose somebody. So if they want to have fun and put on a show and entertain us and bring Bow Wow back, bring this guy back, give everybody their due, then this movie, sure, it's fan service, but that's sometimes needed and that's sometimes necessary. And if you don't recognize that, then it's not the movie for you.
But it's
period.
so funny because you often rail against a lot of people for doing fan service.
No,
But
I
this
do
time,
not.
You're like,
I do not. No, see, that's the thing. People misunderstand. You have to follow what things are doing, okay? Fast and the Furious has never been a serious movie, right from the first one. Show me a car that you can twist NOS on and go, right? But they building it up. They're building it up. They're building. Look at the Expendables, right? That you wanted
Expendables is definitely more
Expendables
over the top.
to be more like it was a ridiculous action movie, right? So if you were going in thinking, oh, Fast 9, they're going to tone it back, they're going to tone it down, then you went in with the wrong conceptions. That's not the movie's fault. Like shit, you knew. Like I said, from 5, every movie past 5, they did something more ridiculous.
yes,
Right.
but-
And if they did not up the ante, if they did not do this ridiculous, you would have walked out of that theater going, yeah, I don't know. They didn't jump a bridge. Like they jumped from one building to the next. Of course, they're gonna jump a bridge and jump a canyon. And yes, it's ridiculous and you can't do it. But that's the point, right?
But
I'm gonna say the same thing. If you can't suspend your disbelief for this is to Rob. How are you gonna suspend your disbelief to James Bond? Same shit, bro.
No, it's
James
not even
Bond
close.
would get on a snowmobile that would blow up, and then he would ride the little thing down and then get in the sub and have a drink with a girl. And then he'd drive in his nice wicked ass car, have a gunfight, hanging out, then get his balls beat the fuck off, right? And then still romance the girl. And you
Well,
see
you're
that
taking
makes sense?
7 different James
come
Bond
on.
movies and
He had a
put them into
submarine
one.
car, right? He had a submarine
Yeah.
car, right?
Whoa,
That's
a
going to
lot
be
of submarine cars.
comparable to
here's the
later
thing.
stuff. Yeah.
I want to ask Andre specifically because I don't disagree with you. You know, they amp it up season after season, but that is an issue with like anime shows, like with Dragon Ball Z and all these. Like each time it's like now an even bigger threat and a bigger monster. Like you and I love Supernatural, and we both are in agreement that it should end it with 5. 5 is the perfect way to end it. Wouldn't you say that this as well, Fast and Furious, should have ended at 7? Like, isn't that the best way to just the conclusion? Everything wraps up so tightly. You know, Paul Walker says his goodbye, and then that's it. Like, you don't need 8, 9, 10, 11. We want more, but could you have us wanting?
Well,
more
why
rather
not?
than-
Like they're entertaining. The people look, dude, that's just like saying, oh, our best podcast was this. Let's go out on a high note. But if we like talking and getting together, why not? Right? That's what this movie is. They're like saying, hey, look, we like all of you. Let's get together. Let's have some fun. Like you could say Ocean's 11, amazing movie. Ocean 12, why'd they do it? Right? So, but you did it because that cast is fun to watch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, at no point you can't magically expect a plot or plausibility out of this series, right? So am I going to judge it on believability? Hell no, especially not after Hobbs and Shaw. That was basically a superhero movie,
Hobbs and Shaw.
right?
Hobbs and Shaw.
So it really
is Hobbs and Shaw between.
Oh, I don't even
8
know.
and 9.
I don't know how
I
canonical
think
this is.
Hobbs and Shaw was right before this one.
yeah.
100%. Yeah, Andre's right. Hobbs and Shaw was ridiculous.
Yeah, it
but-
was Hobbs and Shaw was the part like you
Remember
almost-
Hawaii?
Yeah, but
the string of cars in the
But
air.
again, it's Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, so it's a whole different. It's not even included in this. Like in this,
It isn't included in the series. But listen, there's certain things that if you go with an expectation and there is a precedent, right? You know going in. And if it deviates from that precedent, then I think it doesn't matter. You can feel however you want to feel. But then you will say, oh yeah, it deviated from what I expected. Number 5 was the deviation and it worked. And then they just said, hey, yeah, we kind of got away with this. Let's keep going. Right. So again, it is what it is. But this series, you know, it's no less ridiculous than superhero movies, than James Bond series and everything. It's just that for some reason, Rob or other people can't see that these guys are superheroes in their own right.
You know what
would
the
have
problem
disagree.
is, though? I think on.
Go ahead, Rob.
Sorry, I was gonna say here's the only issue I have with the argument. Like, first of all, 2 things. One, James Bond has always been that character. There's never there have been progressions, but it's one story in and out, like John on prom night, and that's it. You know what you're getting, right? The gadgets might change a little bit, and then when it got too silly, they rebooted the entire thing because nobody believes of a car that has glass panels on the outside of it. The problem that I have with this movie, yes, you're right. If I look at after 5, you have 6, 7, and 8 in this series, and it does get progressively more bananas. But the one thing that those 3 movies had that this one didn't is the
Is the internet?
Cypher just cut him
I-
off. Oh,
I think we need to get
no!
to full. I think we need to get to full spoilers, anyways. I think we
Yeah,
need to.
Cypher.
'Cause
just
otherwise
cut him
we're gonna-
off anyways
we're gonna be
with-
repeating, yeah.
I think with God's Eye. I think is that the right thing I'm using? The right.
See,
term,
they don't.
God's Eye?
They already know. They like, hey, if Rob didn't like it, let's silence him because the
Silence.
movie's
Just
great.
like
The
that,
movie's
just
great. So the
done.
internet is protecting.
Yeah, whatever he is, he's in full lockdown mode. Anyways, okay, John, give us what is your rating out of 10? What's your rating of 10 for this movie?
or whatever the case may be.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, you're back.
Oh.
You're back.
Yeah, you
back.
buzzed out for like 2 minutes,
You
man.
buzzed
You were
out for a
gone.
while.
We missed all of that.
We're like
Okay, save it for spoiler territory.
yeah,
Rob.
Cypher-
So then you-
No, it wasn't a spoiler. It wasn't a spoiler. I'll
No, you might.
summarize it.
Yeah. You'll some. Yeah.
What I was just saying though is that those other movies, at least the actors they seemed like they were having fun, even though they were absurd. In this movie, none of the actors, to me, they look like they're all dialing it in. They were just pale comparisons of who they were. John's boy Tyrese and those, I've always railed against him. I could see though, in rewatching those movies, why. Like my son was loving it. He was laughing at all of Tyrese's antics, never cracked a smile once during this movie. They were just shadows of their former selves. So
cruise control.
So yeah,
maybe because you were
Yes, me
Debbie
too.
Downer during the movie.
I don't know. I disagree. I love Tyrese's "Are we superheroes?" and stuff, and then the other two are going along, and then they go, "Oh, you an idiot." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I think
we'll get back to it. We'll jump. Let's go before
That's full spoiler. Yeah.
you know, someone cuts off Rob again. What do you give this out of 10, John?
I actually, so I guess we're full spoiler. I give it a 9 out of 10, man. I actually love this shit.
Wow.
I was trying to keep it low key.
Wow.
To
All right,
drop it
all
during
right.
spoilers, but
Rob?
since you're asking for numbers, yeah.
Rob?
Rob dropped. He's frozen.
I'll do half of John's. I'm gonna go 4.5.
Whoa. I'm surprised.
Andre?
I give this an 8 out of 10.
Okay. Got it.
Bro, you Stu?
It's a solid 5.
Wow.
a
Stu was
5.
not impressed.
No, it's we'll get to it, but
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, it's a 5. Okay, John, full spoilers. Don't hold back. Release the Kraken. What?
Yeah. So full spoilers. I'll talk about the cars first. So whoever was consultant on this movie, the cars were on point. Like all the cars they chose were like pretty much relevant. Like people take Jeep SRT8s and whatever, wrap them in all that kind of stuff. So everything they chose was really good. It was all like kind of like really on the pulse of what's in car culture today. The Charger with the mid-mounted engine in the back, I think is the concept. That's hot. They even threw in the whole Dodge versus Ford thing. So Dom was all Dodge, and then his brother Jacob was all Ford. They had the GT350 in there. Like all the cars they chose were on point, aside from the odd BRZ or FRS that comes in fully completely stock, and they've done it for the last couple movies for some reason. I guess there must be something in the contract. Yeah. But every other car they chose, even Letty's bikes, she had the Harley at the beginning and all that stuff. Everything they chose for characters really fit. Han's new Supra, done in the color scheme of his Tokyo Drift Arc 7. Like when that popped up on screen, I was like, holy shit, they really got this. So whoever was working on the cars, I don't know if it was a combination of all the cast that they brought in and things like that. That was bang on 100%. Losing The Rock, I think, was great. So that I don't know if there was originally a version of this script with The Rock in it, but taking him out, I love The Rock. He's great. He is franchise Viagra, but he does take up a lot of screen time. You got to give him a certain amount of time to do his thing, to crush things, to destroy things, to be Superman and all that kind of stuff. But taking him out gives everybody else all more stuff to do. So you get Tyrese in there, like the whole meta jokes that he was throwing in there was great. I thought someone else saved him from all the gun shooting at the beginning, and he apparently did it on the rewatch. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I thought it was pretty funny. He goes to reload the gun and accidentally fires it. Like there was all these little things that he was doing that I think was great. He was playing like the clown. Hands comeback, I thought it was fine. Like I said before, I was like, just bring him back and don't even explain it. I'm fine with that. The whole intro, like Andre said, they're superheroes. That beginning, if you put a Scarlett Johansson, a Black Widow costume on Letty, and you put Captain America's costume on Vin Diesel, that's exactly what they're doing in Avengers, but they're just not wearing superhero suits.
Yep.
So Letty riding that motorbike around and then getting saved with the ridiculous Dodge Charger getting hooking and swinging across the bridge like Spider-Man. These are all stuff that we've seen in Marvel movies, but they're doing it without.
We haven't seen stunts this good in the Marvel movies.
They did go over the top. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's definitely over the top. And then since Andre brought it up, like the idea, so Andre said basically with 2, they jumped the bridge in Miami. So it was kind of amping up. The third one, Tokyo Drift, they brought it back, but the drifting was a little over the top. So they still kind of had it. And then everything afterwards escalates. So I give them huge props for figuring out a way to continue to escalate it higher and higher, so much so that they sent a Fiero into space. And also choice of the Fiero, which is like a bonkers project car, is so funny that they chose that car that's got like this weird reputation in the tuner community, that the joke when he was like, is that a Fiero? Like not everyone's gonna get that, but car guys are gonna be like, oh my god, that's friggin' hilarious, right? And then what else did I have in here? I loved John Cena's character. I loved seeing despite how cheesy they were, before the movie opened, we went to see it with a good friend of ours, and he brought his wife. She hasn't watched it since the first couple of movies. And at the beginning, I was like, she's like, yeah, all the car racing and stuff. And I'm like, I think they're beyond car racing. I don't think we're gonna see any races. And this movie had like the most races in it. I was like, what just happened? I was like, oh man, I feel like an idiot. I told her there's gonna be no races. The movie opens with a race. So revealing Dom's past, we'll get into that type of stuff. But
I say whatever. It's a spoiler. Like
yeah. No, I mean, because you're gonna talk about like nitpicks or like bad stuff that you didn't like. So there's some stuff in that territory.
But
yeah. But the whole laying out, I was like, oh man, they're gonna open up, they're gonna show us past, and I was like, I actually really dug it. I actually, if their idea is to do a spin-off, I'm definitely gonna watch that spin-off. And you're looking in the background, and you're like, which one of these girls is supposed to be young Letty? Like they showed a couple different girls that kind of like had the look. So we'll see if that happens. And yeah, just the way they kind of kept going up and getting crazy and crazy. Yeah, sure, science and physics took a freaking beating.
Yeah.
Didn't make any sense. The magnets especially were like out there. But I did like it. And other than that, I don't think I have anything else to say until we get into kind of nitpicks. I don't know if we're gonna wait for Rob or
we're gonna keep on going, regardless of whether Rob is here or not. So that's what's going on.
I'll let Andre talk.
Andre, give us your
So like I said, that opening scene was way better than all of the Black Widow movie. There was nothing that we had never seen before from a Marvel movie in that Black Widow movie. And that's why it fell short, right? But these movies continue to have amazing stunts or amazing choreography, and like that driving scene, that was insane. And yes, they did the over-the-top humor, like Tyrese's truck gets stuck in between and then he falls and he almost hits the landmine. And it is over the top, but at least, again, they're swinging for the fences. They know that they're just like, yo, let's just go. We are entertaining. And like I said, Han coming back, I didn't really like Mr. Nobody, but it all fits. And again, that was a better bring back than it had any right to be. Because like John said, they could have just said, yeah, no, I faked it. I climbed through the manhole or whatever.
They could have showed the sewer cover like going
exactly
over.
Exactly. So they at least thought it. And it's like, yo, that almost makes sense. And then they give him a little bit of backstory. They introduce another character and she was kind of cool. And then you instantly feel like, oh yeah, that's kind of, badass. They tie it back with the lines like we were kind of talking Jordana Brewster, but her and Letty talking in Tokyo.
Yeah.
And it's just was nice to see those characters. And she's like, yo, you'll always be my sister and stuff like that. So yeah, it's cheesy, but they said we've grown up with these characters for 20 years, right? So it was just cool, to see. And yeah, the car stunts, the fight stunts, Helen Mirren was hilarious. I love that scene. Like, do you want to drive? No, I'll be an accessory. And then she drives and she puts it in reverse. It's so ridiculous that it's cool. And I've often said, I wish the Marvel movies would up the ante on their action and really push it past and do like that kind of video game combos and stuff. I think only Age of Ultron did it. And then everything else was just kind of like, okay, it's decent, but it's never like bombastic, like, whoa, let me freaking rewind and pause that and stuff like that. Whereas this one, I'm just like, yo, I can't wait to buy this on Blu-ray and rewatch these scenes and stuff, I think that probably John and maybe you're like, well, Charlize Theron got away and she wasn't big in this movie, so I guess she's going to be the reoccurring villain because
gotta be.
They said, hey, this is the woman that killed your baby mama, and then yo, so we've had a villain now that's going to go over 3 movies and stuff. That again,
that they didn't
cool,
kill off. They
didn't kill her off. She she got away. I thought she was in that drone, and then she steps out. So I'm like, yo, again, that it's just cool, right? So. I think
she probably got paid for a day's work. She was like, I'm gonna stay in this one little room, and she's like in a box and like a thing. It's like,
yeah,
and it's the same thing that we yelled about Paul Giamatti in on the other movie. It was like, oh, you
Gunpowder Milkshake,
Gunpowder Milkshake. You're here for like 25 minutes. You filmed for like half a day and you left, and they paid you a lot of money. It's the same with Charlize Theron. She didn't do much, but yeah, to your point, she's, they got 2 more movies to finish. And instead of introducing a new bad guy, just keep this one going.
Exactly. I think honestly, for as bonkers as the writing is and the situations are, I think they, like, even honestly, Roman's speech is them acknowledging it, and was just them saying, yeah, we know this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
They were like,
and
fuck it,
we're lucky.
we don't care.
But we don't care. And so, like, even the fight scene in Tokyo, I'm like, oh, Michelle Rodriguez kicking ass. And even Jordana Brewster starts throwing kicks. I'm like, whoa, that's ridiculous. But I'm like, screw it. She hasn't had any, scenes for like the past 3 movies or whatever. All she did was run, or work a computer. So I'm like, I don't care. Let her shine, like, so yeah, it is what it is. Maybe it's too much fan service or whatever, but I think this series has always been about delivering to the fans and delivering something that you're going to talk about or laugh about or just really kind of enjoy. And yeah, it's a movie you can nitpick 100% for sure, but I don't think they didn't start at a median. Like, if they're, the first trailer, they showed the car driving over, the canyon. So I'm like, from there, they're like, hey guys, this
is what to expect.
Yeah, this is since we're revealing this, it's going to be bigger than this. So I think again, kudos to it. Like,
So let me ask you this.
I do wish I could have seen it in the theater, though. I probably should have waited instead of renting it.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But let me go to the next question. So you both like the movie a lot. It was a long ass movie. Do you think, even though you loved it so much, it had to be that long? Like, I felt like they could have cut out a few things. Or would you wanted an air cut, an even longer version of this movie? I'm asking.
I don't know if I would cut it shorter, but there was maybe some of the flashbacks to the past, like the opening sequence is a little long. Like, they show a lot of, like, when the car flips over and explodes. They show a lot. I almost felt they could have cut some of that and moved forward a little bit. And then for the end credit scene, I didn't really care much for. I was hoping for something else, but I guess they have to address that Han versus what's his name, Shaw thing.
You just mentioned his movie like not even 5 minutes ago, but yes.
Yeah.
Deckard Shaw. Yes.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's Jason Statham, but I'm like, his character has a name. But yeah, I was like I saw it with my good buddy Pat, and we were entertained for the whole movie. We were just like, whoa. Like, so many things came at us. So I don't know if you could have trimmed any of that for what it was. Like, this is what if going to the theater becomes. Yeah. If going to the theater becomes like an experience that you only do, like, not every week, once a month, because of, safety issues, all that kind of stuff, this is definitely a movie that would have, I feel like you would not really complain about your ticket price, although it is kind of funny that Rob hated it as much as he did. And he did go see it in the theaters. I can understand why people at home might be like, nah, but you didn't get explosions in your face, all that kind of stuff.
Well, I think to your point, sorry, Andre, I'll let you say it before I give my point. But do you think was the right amount of time? It was 2+
yeah,
hours?
I think because they did want to pave the way with the backstory, that probably could have been, like I said, but a couple minutes here and there. Like, I don't think there's, I don't think any part of it dragged. But you're right. Maybe they could have, sliced a 30 seconds here, a 15 seconds here, 45 seconds here, and then you end up trimming 3 minutes. But I don't think it's going to, change much. But I do have to say, it was really funny to me how much I really enjoy this series, that they started dropping Star Wars jokes. And I'm like, oh my God, are they making this movie for me? Because it's hilarious that in 20 years, they've gotten 10 movies, and Star Wars has been out since 1977 and only has 11 movies. So again, whatever you think about the franchise, you love it or you hate it, you got to respect the work and the hustle and the fact that they're at this point, right? And it is a cultural phenomenon. It did so well overseas that it's a juggernaut, So like, if this is the type of movie you go to the theater and you got your 2 hours and 30 minutes full on entertainment, bang. Yeah.
Okay. So
with a cast this big, I think it had to be this long.
It didn't have to be. No.
I don't know, Stu. I think you lost some of the effect.
No, this is not Dune. I'll nitpick a lot of things, but I appreciate you both liking the action scenes, but the flashback scenes were hot garbage. Like it was all an exposition dump. It was like I would fast forward
Yeah.
this through half of Mass Effect. I'm like, I don't care about this. I don't need the lore. Fast forward this. Half of it was like telling me stuff. I'm like, why is this an exposition dump? Normally flashback scenes are supposed to make me feel something or
Mhm.
give me some sort of plot device. It was like, nope, we're just gonna show
I don't
them
know, dude.
they're
I'm
young.
gonna
It's
disagree
like,
because there was that wicked scene where once Dom's in jail, he meets the two guys, the well, what are their names from Fast Four,
yeah.
and that's cool, man. Like, come on, like that was just
But that could have been
wicked.
done like in like a quick hot second. But like there's so
But
much.
it was anyway. Whatever, Stu. I guess
Mhm.
again, it just depends if you either love it or you hate it. I guess, right?
I just felt like it was bloated. Like it was just like you make fun of the Justice League cut, and this is basically a Justice League cut. They just felt that everything had to stay, and it was a long ass movie.
It was not 4.5 hours.
It could have. It's Stu's point. Yeah, although I enjoyed those scenes, you probably could have cut, like Andre said, it into a shorter sequence, or even removed it entirely from the movie, and everyone could have just covered it via talking heads. But I did like seeing it.
I get it. Okay, so they've done. We joked about space. They did space. What the hell are they gonna do next, Rob? What can they do now? Because John and Andre have dropped the gauntlet of every single time they do something else. So like, are they going to the middle of the planet? Are they going to Mars? Like a different dimension? Like what can they do? Because if John and Andre's theory is correct, and they always have to one up, what is next?
Well, I have the answer for you, but before I give it to you, I'm going to say that if they could fix the Zoom conferencing, that would, in Fast 10, that would be great. I will say this. They've gone, as you said, everywhere. They've gone to space. They are now going to be doing a remake of Inner Space. They will be shrinking themselves down and inserting themselves into the body.
And using Hot Wheels.
Yeah, that's right.
Using vintage Hot
zip
Wheels
around
cars.
people's aortic valves and veins to get into, and poor Rick Moranis.
Oh man, a race from a race to the heart.
They will take him. Yes. And that's what's going to happen. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know. I have no idea what they're going to do next. I don't know. I to be honest with you, listen, you've got 2 movies left, 10, 11, and my understanding is that they're filming them back to back. I think they have to. The cast are getting a very long in the tooth, especially Vin Diesel. To be very honest with you, he looks like he's aged the most. Bow Wow aside.
He looked good though. He got in shape for this movie.
He finally got in shape. He finally got in shape.
Yeah.
And Michelle Rodriguez. Did you see Michelle Rodriguez's arms?
Yeah, she looked ripped.
She is definitely looking to get her own franchise. She killed in this movie, actually, I think.
But I would actually like to see them dial it back a little bit and go back to, I don't need the street racing. I think you take the best parts of what those movies were, and I think we've all agreed that number 5 is the best, and I think you bring it a bit more grounded. I think that's how you make that story end, is bring them back. They're just, I would love to see it as a more grounded adventure than what we're getting.
You can't go back.
And that's me saying though, is I can suspend my disbelief of them jumping the buildings in Dubai, because at least it was still kind of fun. I just didn't. For me, this iteration of this movie, it lacked fun for me. It lacked fun, so I could have plausible deniability of what was happening. It just, I want to see them go back to number 5, even number 6. I quite enjoyed. So.
Okay. John, what suggestion do you have for them? Where can they go next?
It's easy. It's easy that they can go next. So basically, this movie was essentially G.I. Joe forming of a secret covert operative team. So the next movie, what's got to happen is the Dodge Charger. Dom's got to basically Dom's got to polish off his steering wheel, and there's got to be an Autobot symbol, and the motherfucking car has got to transform, and you got the touch, whatever you want to put into it. And they could do it. They could do it. There was a rumor a long time ago, because of the Tyrese connection, that Transformers and Fast and Furious, I don't know if it was a rumor or a joke, but they could do that. So they've got
two different properties.
Like Fast, but I'm sure Transformers would like Fast's positivity and Fast fan base. If they did that,
we wouldn't do it. Paramount,
Universal, Transformers could definitely benefit from them. They could even go back in time. Next movie, they could travel back in time and do a Cadillacs and Dinosaurs with all their cars, and save
Time
the
travel.
world in
Dude,
the
you
past.
know what?
Yes.
Honestly-
there's so many things they can do now that they've gone.
You can make a
Now that-
DeLorean with a flux capacitor, and they say,
No, hey,
this
I
thing
respect
hits
them for not
88
putting a
miles an
DeLorean
hour,
in any of these
you're gonna
movies because
see
that car is a piece of
serious
shit.
shit, Letty.
And Stallone has joined us.
Andre.
Well, the one thing we haven't seen them really do is we haven't seen them, boat race or something. So they can
or
do
a car turn into a submarine. Would that
Yeah.
be too ridiculous for you, Andre?
Yeah, I don't know. I like the time travel idea. Maybe they go back in time and they save save Gal Gadot, whatever. That would be cool. They get to only save one person. Dom isn't going to go save his dad. He's going to save that. That would be
No
super
one
cool.
dies in these films, Andre. Everyone comes back
That's
from the
fine.
dead.
I'm fine with that. I
There's
hate
no
them
deaths.
killing someone for dramatic effect.
They don't kill anyone.
Just
The only
killing
person that doesn't come back is Dom's baby mom because it's like, oh well, you don't.
Well,
need her
hopefully she'll be
anymore.
back.
She'll be
hopefully
she's
she'll
the
be
only
back.
one that doesn't survive. Everyone else.
She'll have a
dies.
twin sister, yo.
Oh my goodness. All right. Okay. So now that The Rock is gone, he ain't coming back. Good move by him. Good move by everyone involved.
Good riddance. Good riddance.
Oh boy. I don't know about that one. He is, in my opinion, the best part of the franchise, and now he's gone. It's
No,
it's
definitely
like-
not.
Whoa.
Can I-
Wow.
I'm sure
Wow.
you
Get
guys
out of
talked-
here.
You guys probably spoke about John Cena while I was stuck in Zoom.
No,
hell.
we did not.
No, we didn't. Let's talk
We
about
did not.
John Cena.
We
He's
waited
great.
for you.
Okay,
He's
so actually, I disagree, and I'll tell you why. John Cena, to his credit, is fucking funny. If you watch him in his SNL performances, if you watch him in Cock Blockers, he's really funny. If you saw him in Bumblebee, he was playing into the overhyped colonel,
Military, yeah.
the army guy, right? He was really playing into those roles. Even if you look for those who watch Suicide Squad, you will see what
He's
he's
good as
doing with
Peacemaker.
that character, right? He is really playing into this character. In Fast 9, he was being way too serious. There was no
but
hint
it's
of
the exact path that The Rock took, though. He
No,
started
but
off
it's-
serious and
but
went
it
bonkers
doesn't-
ridiculous.
it doesn't work for John Cena. What I'm saying is John Cena's strengths lie in comedy and in not taking himself too seriously and playing into that part. And in this one, they said, we need you to play straight, be a villain, and he could not do it. It doesn't work for him. You could take anybody else, I think, would have done a great job.
This is
For
where
John
Pat
Cena,
would
that's
come
not his
in
strength.
And say that they've tried over and over to make him a heel. It never works. He's a baby face. Everyone loves him. Even when he tries to be a heel, everyone's like, John
can't.
Cena. So he pumps.
Yeah, he was softening up towards the end. So like if that character returns, I think he will be the version that you want to see.
So my question to you is, now The Rock is gone, they got 2 movies left. Who are they bringing back? Who's the one? If you can only pick one person of the movies that haven't appeared back in the series, who are you bringing back, John?
Can we pick John Cena to come back, or you want
Pick
someone
whoever
else?
you want. You want John Cena
Okay.
back after the last 2?
No, I would actually bring back. I've said it before. I would bring back Johnny Tran from the first movie as some type of villain that's out,
He's
out
dead.
for revenge.
He got
No,
shot.
they never. Everyone gets. Shot is one of the least injuries you can get in this movie. He falls.
He
Walker
turned around and shot
checks his
him.
pulse and he says, "Call 911." You don't call 911 when there's a corpse on the floor, right? So he potentially survived, and he has a sister that Dominic Toretto slept with. So there's a duo that can come back. Shadows from the past. Fast and Furious 10. Shadows from the past. Johnny Tran returns.
We already have Cypher as the bad guy. I don't think we need to bring.
She helps him and gives him a high tech car, a Knight Rider like NSX or S2000. I just wrote it for them.
She
Yep.
gives them night boats.
Yes.
So when they're on the boats,
Yeah.
as Andre recommended, they're racing in the fjords.
Their car turns into a boat, hydrofoil.
Yeah.
hydrofoil. Yeah.
You know
All
what?
right.
They're going to actually remake Mask, the old cartoon where the
Hell
car.
yeah.
That would be
Hell
hey,
yeah.
that's the license they should scoop. That hasn't come back yet. That's what
Fast
yeah.
and Furious
Rob gave them an
is
even
called
better
Mask.
idea. So yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
could
It's
just
fast
you just-
10 your seatbelts. They are now
Uh,
Mask.
technically,
fast and then mask right under it. It
You
works.
could just
too.
buy
It's
the
perfect.
GoBots.
Rob, you're a genius.
John. They're cheap. You can buy the GoBots.
No, sorry,
They're
GoBot.
not
No, you
Transformers.
GoBots. is
Nobody,
not
nobody
cool.
wants GoBots.
Nobody. Yeah, those were
But
the
the
poor
Fast
man
and Furious can make them
Transformers.
cool, man. They could finally make GoBots cool.
No, they couldn't.
Well,
They couldn't.
All right, Andre, who
Sorry.
do you got? Who do you want to bring back?
I don't know. I think they're obviously they've set up his character to come back, John Cena.
Jacob.
Yeah, I don't know who I would who they would need. I don't think they need to bring anybody.
Giselle, you would want Giselle back. No?
I would want Giselle, but it's that, you know what? Again, this story
Does she have to go
with the Han thing? I thought that was cool. But I also think I would like to see the two guys from I can't remember their names back, you know, because they were super fun.
Well, the
right?
one guy was there, right?
So, yeah, one guy was there, and he's at
super
the end.
Fun
he's
that
there
don't speak English.
Barbecue.
That
yeah,
only speak Spanish.
So Don Omar's character, right? So
yeah. Okay. Well, all right, Rob.
Well, originally I was thinking of Rob Cohen, the original director, as the pizza guy who in Fast One.
He's like, you can't take cars into space.
Hey,
you
like,
guys go home, pizza boy.
I have to get here. But if I was to bring back one, it's there is the one.
He wants JTT
guy,
back from.
There was the one guy in there was the one guy in number one who didn't die. Jesse died. The
Leon
skinny guy.
Leon.
Yes, Leon. Leon never. He just kind of drifted off. No pun intended. We don't know what actually happened with him.
His skyline was destroyed though. His car. It was illegal. They had to destroy it.
Okay, great. There's lots of cars. I would like to see like something like that come back, because I think that would be cool, pretty cool to tie it back into their origins.
Apparently, he's never gotten a call.
Yeah,
they must really not have liked him.
Yeah, not surprised. Let's the movie is all about family. Vin Diesel apparently never had a heart-to-heart conversation with Jacob. Communication skills not exactly
never turn your back on family, except for this one time I turned my back on family.
Let me just make assumptions about him, and then I'm just gonna implant this knowledge, and that's it. So Dom is not only a super genius when it comes to vehicles, he's a superhuman, but can't turn around and have a conversation with his own brother about a simple thing as, what did you listen to one random guy in prison. He's like, yep, you know what? I trust you more than family. I'm just going to believe what you say. So is that the biggest troubling plot hole issue of this movie? It's the fact that, he basically makes a life altering, I'm not going to have family or have this guy in my family based on, a happenstance conversation with another guy by looking at a vehicle.
He's straight out of jail and making rash decisions. So it's funny that he didn't try and go back. They maybe should have wrote in something that he tried to get back and contact him, and he just disappeared off the face of the earth. But a bigger issue with the movie is those two guys spotting a hairline crack in the fuel line from across the room. So that I feel like that's a bigger problem than the other blood.
Wait a minute, that's a bigger problem than taking a Ford Fiesta into space.
There's a Fiero, Rob.
Fiero, sorry.
Pontiac Fiero, bro.
Pontiac Fiero.
I'm not a car guy, okay? As far as I can
really?
It could have been a fucking Pinto. All I'm saying is that that's the bigger issue.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
I would argue that James Bond's submarine car is more implausible than Space Fiero.
Okay, you know what? Here, in all fairness, I'm going to ask this question then, because you guys keep bringing up and you're right. The
Can
submarine
we wait for
car.
the James Bond car after you answer my question?
Yeah, what was
not
the
done
question?
yet?
I don't know nothing about James Bond car, by the way.
No, what was the question,
like?
Stu? What do you want me to answer?
What's the biggest plot hole? I was saying, is it?
What? First of all, you have to have a plot for which a hole to exist.
So that's your
what
answer.
What are you talking about?
Lack of plot.
No, I would agree. Listen, hey, good on them for taking 9 kicks at the can to get to an origin story. It was implausible. I mean, the whole thing was just. I'm not gonna. At the very beginning, I was like, these guys obviously don't have Marvel money because they're not even doing CGI. And then I realized that they were using those guys throughout the entire course of the movie. And I was like, okay, well, obviously it's going to cost too much money to de-age Vin Diesel and stuff like that. But, yeah, I thought that entire, and we also don't know what happened to Mr. Nobody. He's still missing. Like that's another plot hole, a thread that was never figured out. Like
I don't know if it's a hole.
That's not a hole. That's a thread. They're gonna
I know that. Yeah,
that's later, right?
Yeah.
Or
So
Scott Eastwood. Sorry, not Scott. It's not Clint. It's Scott Eastwood's character.
Eastwood.
He was part of the team for one movie.
But in all fairness, like you guys keep ragging on the submarine car, the Lotus.
I'm just joking.
James Bond. And you're right. There are a lot like those later Roger Moore movies. I mean, listen, when he went into space, right? Like in Octopus, that's ridiculous. Like it's absolutely stupid, right? That he goes into space.
James Bond went to
that.
space.
He does.
A
And
couple
that
of
was,
times.
How did he get there?
No, he only went once.
What about Moonraker?
Catapult?
Oh, sorry, that's the one. That not Octopus. It was Moonraker. Sorry, yeah. Moonraker's when he goes to space. It was absolutely ridiculous and stupid. But that being said, like I think a lot of James Bond fans would look at those and be like, okay, they're campy and there's a problem with it, but they're not the best of the series. Do you guys like they're towards the lower end of the 25 movies they've made? You guys really like this, you know, John and Andre. You guys hold this high? Like you guys, I know that number 5 is your top, but I gotta say, like, I respect our differing of opinions on things. I'm just surprised that this movie is higher ranked than some of the other ones you guys have said.
That was my follow-up question, Rob. So thank you for the segue.
Sorry.
Where does this movie rank in your Fast 9 out of all the 9 movies? I'm not. If you want to include Hodge and Shaw,
I like this one better than 8. I would rank this higher than 8. I don't think it's not going to bump the other ones that I
so
enjoy.
It's the bottom. It's not even the top 3 for you, Andre.
Well, no, but again, the top 3 is pretty amazing, right? Like 5. I think it was between 5, 6, and 7, right? But I did like this one better than 8. I think it's super.
Is it a bottom 3 movie or in the middle?
No, it's probably, like I said, it's probably number 4 for me.
Oh, 4.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. John.
Yeah, so it's hard for me to answer because I always like the newest thing I saw the most. As I'll rank it on rewatchability. The first one definitely has got to be the top. And then if you take out the Paul Walker factor, because I absolutely love Paul Walker in this series, 5 definitely going to be my all-time favorite. But if I kind of take that out of my head, I want to put this like next almost, just because of sheer entertainment value. But you need a lot of the establishing of all these characters to take place, so it's like it's hard to really say. But if somehow Paul Walker was in this movie,
God, if he was in this,
even the cameo, even the cameo at the end that they chose his classic R34, the blue one, wicked choice. And even just, I know you're not going to see him, whatever, but just the fact of him pulling up to that house that they're rebuilding, hit the spot for me. So
yeah, but his brothers were listed as in the cast, so I think that they shot something with them and they were going to digitally, and obviously they decided not to go with it, but they were listed in cast credits.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, because the skyline they actually showed during the commercial, like the trailers, and you're like, oh my god, what's going on? And it's literally like the final scene he pulls up. But
I think they just did it just to pay him for the family rights or whatever. Just be like, we'll just put you in the credits and give you some money just for the whatever looks. Rob, where does this movie rank in your Fast and Furious hierarchy?
It's at the very bottom. Like Tokyo Drift is above this one.
Too Fast, Too Furious?
Yeah, no. Too Fast, Too Furious is actually way more decent than one. That is actually a decent action movie comparative to what it
does have old school flavor. It has old school flavor. Maybe you just weren't in the mood to watch this, Rob.
No, here's the thing. I agree with Rob 100%. It's the worst movie. The worst of all the Fast movies. Like it literally, I watched it twice and I was like, this is the worst thing I've seen twice. Like,
it was so bad that you watched it twice. How does that make any sense?
I have to know. I'm like, is it, to your point, John, was it just me or was it in a bad mood? Like, what was going on? And I watched it again. I'm like,
7 and 8, I didn't like it all. I didn't like it. 7 and 8, I found really hard to watch. Yeah,
it was something. It just, to Rob's point, like, I don't mind the a lot of fan service. I'm guilty of that. And 7 did it, 6 did it, 5 did it. Like, all of them do it. It's just this one specifically. It was just so uneven and just so like I get it, escalation. But it got to the point where I'm like, oh, the guys from Tokyo Drift now rocket scientists, and I'm just like, oh man, like they're really just. I guess my thing is that Vin Diesel now is a character, like Dom is now a character where he never has doubt and everything he does is perfect every single time. And it drives me crazy. Like he's now Batman. He's Batman. Yeah, like I can see there's nothing he can do that goes wrong. At least Batman, something goes wrong. He's never in doubt. And I'm just like, even Superman has a moment of doubt. It's like, and I think Andre, we talked about before, Superman is wonderful because even he's indestructible and does the right, he still makes mistakes because even though he's not a human, he is human. But I'm getting to the point where Vin Diesel's not a human anymore. He's just unstoppable and he's perfect in this
But
movie.
it's funny that you make that comparison and you say that. Why can't he be Batman? Like I said, if this was Batman, if this was a DC movie and
Batman
this was
had
like
years
John
of
said, if it's
training,
Justice League or
and he was
whatever,
rich and he had the whole spectrum. This guy in like from 1 to now is just like, how did he get all this stuff? Like,
no
I
proof-
get
it
it.
but
doesn't
hold
make
on. But
And
see, that's the
Jacob
thing.
had the training.
The funny
where
thing is,
did he go to the League of Assassins? Where did he train with the best people in the world
but
to
dude,
become Batman?
they've showed a progression, and we're only seeing them on the mission. What if in between they were training?
We shouldn't
You
have to
don't
be filling
know.
that stuff in though. So here's
Right?
here's the
Like,
but we
that
shouldn't
to
have
me-
to be filling that in on ourselves. Here's the thing. Die Hard, John, we'd all talk about, is probably one of the best action movies ever. Die Hard 2 is a carbon copy of Die Hard 1, except it takes place in the airport, and yet it's still fun as hell, all hell. Die Hard 3, he's in New York. He's still a cop and he's hanging out with Samuel L. Jackson. And yet it's still a lot of fun. It's not as good as number 1, but Die Hard 3 is still an enjoyable action movie. When you get to Die Hard 4 and he's jumping on top of a jet, like that's hovering over the highway, at that point, the everyman, the guy that you as the viewer are able to kind of relate to and think, I want to be that, you've lost all probability of being able to relate to that as the
Dude,
everyman.
this movie never had it.
Yes, but
This
no,
series
if you
never
look at
had
number
it,
1,
man.
yes, he was. He was Paul Walker was the entrance to get into that world as the undercover cop. Vin Diesel was still the everyman. He was the grease head or the grease monkey or whatever, that everybody had. That one guy in high school, you always knew who that guy was. He was the guy fixing the cars.
He's the alpha, right?
Yeah, and you always knew that guy. You could say, okay, there's always the one dude that you knew that did the racing or whatever the case may be.
But at
you
the
could
point,
at least find some relating. Now you can't relate to Dom anymore.
but
It's
you're not
way out of
like,
it.
dude. But that's the thing. At a certain point, they decided to flip the switch. And you either come along with them or you don't. So obviously you and Stu can't come along with them. So it's not a question of whether or not they chose the wrong thing. It's just too much for you guys to believe. But at least they paved the way with 4 other movies or 5 other movies that were borderline ridiculous.
Yes, but then
right?
but you go into that though accepting that. And so I go into this one accepting that it's going to be bananas.
But you just said it's 2 bananas.
Yeah, but
that's
no,
both you and Stu's argument. It's 2 bananas. I don't believe they can do this. They couldn't do anything even from the first movie. They drove a car underneath a moving trailer in the first Fast and stayed there.
Hey,
and
so
then
did Chevy
came out.
Chase.
You know,
Right.
So Chevy Chase. Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, I think in the beginning movies there was still a belief that these characters, there was risk involved. There was actually people could die, people get hurt, and it happened. Letty died. I'm like, wow, that's ramifications. Like, things can happen. Han dies. Like, oh, Giselle dies. Like, things in the first couple movies, you're like, oh, it escalates. Like, there is a risk reward factor. These people are putting their lives on the line, and it matters. And it gets to the point now where, oh, actually, all that, it doesn't. So now you're at the point where, okay, I get it, fine. To your point, Andre, I'm not discrediting and saying it's not a good movie. It's just not my taste anymore, because I'm realizing that it's gone so far now where you're right. Like, it's coming to a feel good, happy adventure action where no one gets hurt, no one dies. That's not what I thought Fast and Furious 1 was, where people died. Jesse died. There were real life consequences.
For now.
He died.
No, but you know what?
Consequences. And Dom and who's the other guy that died in Fast 5? Like, who the guy that Vince died too. Like, people died and there was consequences. But for this group, and I get how they get along and Tyrese and thing, but like, just the escalation in scale of, like, same thing with Rey in Star Wars. Oh, she just learned how to use the Force overnight. It's like the same logic occurs. It drives me crazy. It takes years to be Jedi Master. It takes years to do that. You're decrediting, like, Luke Skywalker forever just to learn how to lift the rock up, and she's like, I can do this without even thinking. Same with Vin Diesel. If you just say he's Batman, it's like, then fucking Batman did nothing. He's a jobber. Vin Diesel can do it half the time. Why devote your life to be the Dark Knight? So it's like Batman is like a higher level of being in terms of the dedication, the strength, the money, the resources, and to just say, oh yeah, Vin Diesel could just get there. It's like, well then, what the hell is Bruce Wayne just what? Nobody?
I don't think I was saying it literally that he was Batman, but anyways, dude, it's cool. Listen, I'm gonna take my Fast 9 Avengers and stuff and dig it that's where they showed the characters go, because realistically, I would like Rob and Stuart to pitch me 8 other movies where they don't escalate. Like we're gonna watch these guys street race for 8 movies, legit. Like they're gonna be
I can see that they
borderline
want something
street
more
level
grounded.
criminals and
Andre.
get 8 movies. You guys are out of your minds
No,
if you
no,
think
but
that
this is the
that
same
this
thing-
series get past
No,
3
but
without what they did with
But
4.
Andre, the whole thing is about the Jurassic Park argument. Like scientists keep on asking and preoccupied of whether they could. They didn't stop to think if they should. You just say, oh, just keep on going 10 after 10 after 10 after 10 at escalation. But that's not our point. Our point is like we get that it's going there, but there seems to be a point where maybe you could have hold back a little bit, like maybe not go, that incredibly like huge.
Turn the knob back a little bit.
bit down. Like the
That's
jumps
fine.
were so huge between 5, 6, 7. It's like, whoa, well, like you like it's too much. Like slow it down. Like if this was the last set piece of the franchise, where I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I get it, but like there's 2 more.
You'll have to see
So,
for
like,
2 more. If they're able to top it, I will be extremely impressed.
But now it gets to the point where I'm dulled to like the violence and like the action sequences are like the point where I'm like they're boring. I'm like, you guys have done so much, like it doesn't mean anything. I watch Indiana Jones and that sequence where it's fighting on that tank, and like the sequence of like the buildup of it, and like everything's slow, and it's like there's like a buildup, and he's caught on the side of the tank and moving across. Like there is consequences. There's a buildup to it. Like even the fights are escalating. The Bond fight where he starts on the motorcycle and then goes on the train, like there's a buildup to it, and that's the best action sequence I can think of. Like some of the best ones are that, but it doesn't have to be 1,000 cars flipping over and magnets. But like they just did it, I totally think it was great. But like 1 scene is good, not 2 of magnets and like flipping cars. Like eventually after a while, it's like, okay, well,
Andre, when was the last time you saw number 8?
Right after I watched 9.
Oh, did you okay? Because like I actually think about 8 a lot after I watched this movie, and yeah, 8. You got The Rock literally changing the trajectory of a torpedo.
Yeah,
and you're like, what the hell, man? But there was still a modicum of fun. Yeah. I actually, at the end of this movie, when I saw that Justin Lin had directed this, I was, to be honest with you, I was quite shocked, because this did not seem to have the same beats and action and pace that he has directed in the other movies. I know he took a couple of them off, but I was like really surprised, like, because it just, I get that there's a progression and there's the absurdity, and I can accept the absurdity as long as there's something.
He did 8. Justin Lin did 8.
I think he did 8. Yeah.
But I can 5. Yeah.
But I can accept that the absurdity is there if the payoff is that it's fun for me and I laugh, and it's like I'm engaged with these characters, even though they're absurd. There's still something I'm getting out of it. Yeah. There was a lot of this over here, a lot of absurdity, and they were all kind of calling for me. They were phoning it in. Like it just really seemed like they were there for like money. They seemed not themselves. And so for me, that's why I listen. You want to go to space? I think that was. Even saying it out loud is absurd.
I didn't like 8 at all. Wow, I have to rewatch it.
It's like again, like I like silly action movies. I liked 5. I liked 6, I like 7, and I just found this movie, like the plot was just so, and I wanted to just love this movie so much. Like the Han stuff, I wanted to love everything. Yeah. And when I watch this movie, and I'm just like.
He was the best part of this movie, though. I will say.
Yeah, 100%. Han was the best part of this movie because but
maybe the wait. Maybe if this came out like a year ago, you guys would be all right.
No, it wouldn't be, because again, it's the story. Like
you don't. Why did we have Jordana Brewster? We don't need Jordana. She like literally she leaves Brian with the kids on wherever they're hiding out. And all of a sudden now she's like this action superstar where she's fighting. And like, I was like, wait, I think why did she have to come back?
I think you guys are like, I said at the beginning of the thing, you guys are kind of missing it. Like, I think these are guys that are doing something and
Why Cardi
not
B?
only are they having fun with it, but they
'Cause
want
why
to.
not?
No, that's fun.
But
Cardi
dude,
B is fun. Yes. I
yeah,
agree
but
with you.
I'm just saying like I think they all have a different mentality.
Yeah.
Now that Paul Walker's passed, you know what I mean? So they want to do this. Maybe they're giving him some money. Look, you pick all of those actors. None of them are really flying up in other things. So if
Agreed.
there is a audience and a demand for this, why take that away? You just say, hey, you know what, guys? I'm off the fast train at 9, but it's been a fun ride. Thank you very much. I'm not going to do 10, 11, and 12. Just like I dipped out of Star Wars.
Yeah.
You guys know how much I love Star Wars. I ain't ever going to watch 8, and I ain't going to watch 9. I don't give a about that.
No, but,
right?
but
So
I'm not
at a certain
I'm not
point, you just have to say, yeah, you say no, thank you very much. It's not for me. But don't take away from what those people are trying to do. And I really think
No,
for this
but-
movie, it's different. You're right. Yeah, they
No,
like
but
Vin
we
Diesel
can be
probably said, "Hey, I
critical.
want to bring in my brother. I want to do this. I want to do this."
Yeah, but we
and they
can be
wrote the
critical
best
of the
thing they
property
could to
because
do it.
Michelle Rodriguez was critical of the property too. She fought back and be like, "There's no parts for women," and she pushed back to the producers and Vin Diesel himself to say, "This is ridiculous. Why there's no women in this?" And they included a new woman, and they had these conversations. It's not again having criticism and having a discussion about a movie is basically what Vin Diesel should have done with his brother. Have a hard conversation, say we got to talk about this instead of just saying I give up and just walk away.
No, he thought he murdered his
I
father,
am
so he had to
willing-
go.
That's why I watched it twice, and I'm willing to watch the next one because at the end of the day, it's like I open my horizons and figure out, well, I'm pot committed. I'm 9 movies into a trilogy of 11. I'm just gonna give up right now? No,
Why not? If you didn't like it,
I ain't no quitter. That's it. I don't quit.
I will say, you know what?
He's in it till the end.
That
Yeah,
actress Anna Sawai, the one that the girl, the young Asian girl that Han was protecting, like that was the one thing I was like, okay, that's like, first of all, I'm glad Han's back. So it doesn't make sense how they brought him back, but whatever. I was glad he was back. He was a lot of fun. I really like Han, and I like this inclusion of this new actress. So I get what Andre's saying. I just think that sometimes when you have too many cast members, too many things going on, if you're going to inject a little bit of new blood, like that was the right way to go. I would have preferred to have her and then not have Jordana Brewster, because I think they're just you're just
But
bringing
then
her
you
in.
missed that scene where they're talking about having ramen outside. That one conversation,
Right.
Where they, where Jordana Brewster doesn't. I was watching with my wife. I'm like, is she just gonna sit there with that food and not even eat it? And then she eventually picked up one.
Yeah, she picked up one thing. Yeah,
the vegetable. I'm like, oh, Jordan, like at least look like you're eating the noodles. Like pretend
You
you're gonna
can't,
slurp
because then
the
you're gonna have to eat it every take, and you're gonna be like,
pretend to slurp it at least. Anyways. So yeah, no, I'm gonna watch the last 2 because frankly, I need to see how they're gonna go over the top and finish this bad boy, and then I can do a more critical analysis of it.
Oh, I'm gonna watch them as well.
Like this.
hey,
Is the thing,
I
like-
was previously out with 8, so I'm back in for 9 full force. So I'm down with this conclusion of these characters.
All right, well let's jump to the last question before we close it out. As you could tell from this podcast, some of us really like it and some of us don't like it. John,
It's fine.
Is there a movie property or a comic or something you recommend that people check out that that if they like Fast and the Furious properties, that they would also enjoy watching this
Justice League. No, the closest thing I can think of is it was a DC Vertigo series a long time ago. They did make a movie of it. Didn't really live up to what the book was, and it's called The Losers. And they're like a team of covert ops types guys that do crazy stuff. Like one of the guys jumps a jeep and kills a bunch of guys, and then there's snipers and all that kind of stuff. So I would recommend that book. I forgot who wrote it, Andre. I don't know if you remember who wrote it.
Andy
Andy
Diggle.
Oh, Andy Diggle. Yeah. He did a really good job with that kind of.
And the movie
Black
has
Ops stuff.
Idris Elba and Chris Evans.
It's got a great cast, but the movie
Yeah, it had an
that
amazing
was-
cast, but
Yeah.
it was trash. Yeah, and then just a TV show recommendation would be Animal Kingdom, which does feature the young Jacob character as a kid who joins a family of basically
Cole.
criminals.
Yeah.
He joins a family of criminals who basically set up heist type situations. So just like the Fast and the Furious family, but a TV show.
Although somehow in the movie flashbacks, Jacob is shorter, and then later in life he's much taller.
Growth spurt, man, growth spurt. They don't reveal their exact ages.
I guess.
We don't know if he's legally driving or not.
Well, we're gonna go with that. Andre, what's your recommendation for someone who is interested in something else similar to this series?
Well, they did do the Netflix. They had a Fast and the Furious cartoon, and that was pretty fun. And then I think if I was to say a comic, maybe The Ride or Death or Glory. Those are two comics that feature really, really fast cars and kind of crime and stuff like that. They're definitely not like the same vein, but there is action and fast vehicles.
Gotcha. Rob?
I'm gonna go with, listen, if you want a little bit of action and some absurdity, I
I'm
obviously
gonna
I'm
say
gonna go,
Underwater World.
I'm gonna say
You're gonna say it, aren't you?
no. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna direct you to 4 James Bond movies, but all the Pierce Brosnan ones, because I think people might have a difficult time if you've never watched any of the Bond movies. You're gonna have a difficult time getting into the early, like the 60s and 70s ones with Roger Moore. So I would say a more recent. It was 95 was GoldenEye, and it went through up to his last one, which was in 2002, I believe.
One of them has Rick Yoon in it, right? Johnny Tran.
Tomorrow
That's
Never
the last
Dies.
one.
Tomorrow Never Dies,
Die
yeah.
Another Day. That's the
Yeah,
last
Oh,
one.
Die
and
Another Day, yeah.
Madonna's in that one.
And Madonna's in that one, yeah, because she has to die another day. That's her song. But yeah, I would say that because you know what, at least like you will see, you know, in GoldenEye, which is probably one of the better James Bond movies, you can see this progression that we've kind of talked about to get into where they were, how they ended in Die Another Day. So it's a bit modern. You can kind of see it. It's not as dated as the earlier ones, but it does go from the somewhat cool to the silly, and that's why they had to reboot it. So I would go that way.
It's funny because you say GoldenEye because there's a lot of Jacob and Dom synergy between that and GoldenEye with Sean Bean. And,
That's right. Yeah. And
with
James
Pierce
Bond,
Brosnan.
006 and 007.
006 and 007. There's a lot
That's
of
right.
synergies there. That is one of my all-time favorite James Bond movies, but only because I think that was one of the first ones I saw in the theater, like James Bond movies, and yeah, it was a good time because there was so many.
that he was driving a BMW. I think they lost the Aston Martin sponsorship. So
He did. He was driving a BMW.
a blue Z4, I think.
That was Cena on the top. That was Frankie Jansen. That was a lot of interesting actors. Okay. All right. So needless to say, we all.
Hey, can I ask everyone what their favorite car was before we wrap up? Do you have a favorite car from the movies too?
Man, I like the multi-vehicle thing. That was fun because I would want to drive that for myself, an armor car vehicle.
That big thing or the thing that Tyrese had?
The big thing that was unstoppable until you got giant magnets.
You had to like flip over and stuff like that.
Again,
where the hell would you park
honestly, like I wish Andre May walking down the street one day and be like, that guy has cauliflower ears. He's got to be just like randomly go by and be like, that's it, Andre. That guy right there, his shoes are scuffed because he's from a coal mine. Let's follow that guy. He must be a bad guy.
He has
cauliflower
black
ears
lung,
are
he
very
must be-
apparent.
Like this dude has some
That's true.
like he has something on his shoes. He must be back. Let's go take him on the back alley. Like the leaps and bounds of like that is some Batman level like observation. Like
Hey man, they threw something in.
Like,
Rob,
again,
I know you're
maybe
not a
you
car
were-
guy. What would your favorite car be?
Well, was there the one that Jacob was driving and then he took it off the cliff and then he was caught by the drone and
The GTO.
Yeah, that was
Mustang GT.
yeah Mustang. That I actually
Yeah.
quite like that. But that aside, if I couldn't pick that one, I'd pick the one that went to outer space because why not?
The Fiero, nice.
Fiero.
Yes. highly unreliable, that car.
Yeah,
to change
that's
the engine.
why-
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
Perfect
it
to
was
make it
on
a space
fire
shuttle.
at the point that like reused the same model. I'm like, I don't think the integrity of the metal is gonna
Yeah.
work, but let's keep on going.
Also, deep sea diving suits don't actually replicate what you need to use to survive in space, but that's a
Duct tape. Andre, did you have a favorite ride?
I think what Helen Mirren was driving, just because that
Oh,
scene
yeah.
was so cool. Like just her. Oh, that was
That's like a noble something around, like
Yeah.
something ridiculously crazy. There's probably only a couple.
It
of
was
them in the world.
super
That
cool.
was
That
a
was
nice
such
car,
a fun
yeah.
scene. I don't know how Rob didn't have any fun in this movie. That's hilarious.
No,
This
I did
movie
laugh one time.
Had so much heart, man. It just had so much heart.
No, it smelled like a fart. I tell you what, I had one moment where I laughed is when that Helen Mirren scene when she pulls up and there's just these random people all dressed in white dancing.
yes, I laughed too. I laughed
like,
too.
what is this?
100%.
And
I learned to my wife.
I said,
I started laughing. She's like, "What are you laughing?" I'm like, "This is so ridiculous. A white party."
yeah, everybody's dancing. I said to my son, I said, that doesn't really happen. But I've noticed having watched all these movies recently that you generally find people that are just gathering and dancing like that. And it's just really, but they're not even dancing. They're just more like swaying. Right.
That was funny.
Again, you have a problem with it, and that has been in every movie since the second one.
He laughed though. He laughed. He laughed. In the theater, when we were in the theater, the group we went to, you know, when Vin Diesel looks like he's gonna die and falls in the water, we all laughed out loud. And that's supposed to be like a dramatic, like you're like, he's gonna die. Oh no. We all we were the only ones too. The whole theater was just teeny boppers and stuff like that. We laughed so loud, we were the only ones laughing, and then we were like, oh geez, I guess we were supposed to take this seriously, but that was funny.
Yeah,
we like,
when Vin Diesel was like fighting those guys off, I'm like,
he's like swimming, and I think like there's an angel.
The
coming
19
down.
guys come at him, and he's like, all of a sudden, he's the Incredible Hulk. He's like,
No, when he's blacking out, and you think he's gonna die in the water, we all laughed so loud. It was funny.
No,
Sorry, Stu.
I agree. That's
diverted.
basically Captain America and Winter Soldier when he falls in the water and floats there, and Winter Soldier pulls him out of the water. I'm like, this is, that was so stupid. I was like, this is so ridiculous. No, Andre, I agree with you. Helen Mirren scene was awesome, but the whole fight sequence where the whole, like, that was him. I'm like, I get it. You're trying to show that you have, bigger arms than The Rock and blah, blah, blah. Like, you're just trying to show off. It's just so unbecoming. It's like, we got it. Let's just go back to do what you know best. Have a Corona and and hanging out with your boys. That's it. So the Corona placements were not, I think there was only one scene.
Not as apparent.
Yeah, not as apparent. Maybe they didn't pay him enough money. So, all right.
They're all flashbacks.
Oh boy. John, Andre, where can we find you guys in the virtual world and in the real world?
The virtual world.
The bottom of a pool.
When we're not.
And Andre will be outside of a house just sitting and dancing.
The white
Andre,
party.
To be fair, I can imagine Andre at a palatial state in Barbados, wearing a white white outfit with all the beautiful ladies and just standing there bobbing along. Yes, that would completely be Andre's scene. He would totally be there, and he'd be like, "Yeah, it's Andre."
And we would drive up and we'd be like, "What are you dancing to? There's no speakers."
You're like, "You can feel music in my soul." That's it. And
Yeah,
you'd be like,
that's right.
Yes, carry on. Yes.
Got music in my soul.
Keep
All right,
music in my
so
soul.
Heroes World Online is going to take you to everything, our online presence. So Heroes World Online, all one word if you want, on the Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all over the place, even the website, Heroes World Online. And if you're listening to this audio, Heroes World podcast on iTunes, Spotify, if you're listening, please give us a subscribe, if I can talk, and a 5-star rating on iTunes and a review if you so have time. Thank you, everybody, for sharing and liking our stuff and even just checking everything out with us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and let's get a shout out to the Instagram, like John said, Heroes World Online. I think that's our fastest growing social media right now. But also check out our Twitch too, because we're streaming on lots of things. But if you want to see us in person, the store is open. We're open 5 days a week, John. Yeah, 5 days a week. 8601 Warden Avenue. That's at Warden and Highway 7, and it's in Markham, Ontario. And it's just north of Steeles, just outside the GTA. So come and see us and tell us how much you like Fast and Furious, because I know you guys like it.
We do. It's just 5.
I wasn't talking to you two. I was talking to the guys listening. They're gonna be like, yeah.
And Tokyo Drift.
It's fine. Yeah. This movie is definitely divided. I think a lot
it's the fan is
it's
definitely
divided.
Yeah, divided. Rob?
Well, when I'm not going to be rewatching Fast 9 with subtitles to understand what the fuck Cardi B said, you can find me and
Rob
John.
don't listen to new music. He's got to get on that.
I literally was like, what the hell did she just say?
Did you couldn't follow it because you were speaking too fast, or you didn't understand like the
I didn't
words that
understand
were
that.
coming out of her?
Yeah, I did not understand a single word that came out of her. I was like,
Was
what?
is that your best Chris Tucker? John, was that your? Do you
No, no,
understand
no.
the words coming
This
out of
is
my
Rush
mouth?
Hour?
Like, is that your
Yeah.
rush hour moment?
Oh,
of the
that's
day?
a good movie. That's the next movie we should be watching.
No, trust me, you
No.
shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. It's not good. Because I just watched it with Noah. You can find me on Monday nights on the Heroes World Psychic Show with John. This Monday, tomorrow, you will be. Hopefully, you've done your homework and watched.
Not tomorrow, it's Monday.
The Gentleman.
Monday. It's Monday.
Yeah, but isn't this airing on Sunday? Are we not putting
We
this
don't
on
know.
Sunday?
It's probably Saturday.
Okay, fine. So on Monday,
We'll air it
Um,
Saturday just to make sure you're wrong.
Just to make you look like a.
no, you're
make
put
you
on
look like-
Tuesday.
100%.
just to
I'm
make
like
you
an
look like a
idiot.
chump.
You just
Oh
laid
my
it out
God.
for him.
I had to watch
This-
Fast 9. so I
Honestly,
can't look
this
more
is
like
the
a chump.
Tyrese. This is the Tyrese Ludacris dynamic that salvages the movie. Honestly, they were the MVPs of this movie. Everyone else was just out to lunch. At least the two of them had chemistry. They looked like they had fun, like hey, just hanging out, just doing stuff.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
Clearly,
we'll see
That
Ja
makes,
Rule in
by
that
the
makes
way,
you our Ramsey.
you know what? But for sure, you're Tyrese and John is Ludacris, just because you both hate that combination. Because John wants to be Tyrese, and no, you cannot be. You're Ludacris.
No, Rob is definitely the Roman Pierce.
I don't think
but for
so.
some reason he dislikes this character so much.
You can find John. So we are reviewing The Gentleman, the Guy Ritchie movie. It is on Netflix. It's so definitely, if you haven't had an opportunity to check that out, watch it and join John and I. And I don't know if anybody else is coming on. Stu, I think you might be there.
I think Stu's coming in.
Stu, okay, so we're watching The Gentleman on Monday, and yeah, that's all I got for this, man. Oh, and then I think
Suicide
are we
Squad.
reviewing Suicide Squad?
Suicide
that will
Squad
be
on
coming
Sunday.
out Sunday on the Heroes World on the YouTube
Or Wednesday,
page.
just so we can
Shut
F with
up.
Rob.
Yeah, I got some thoughts on that movie. Yeah.
I will say this: don't bring your kids. Don't make the mistake that this guy did.
Why did you?
It's not for kids.
Didn't they say it was the bloodiest, goriest movie that possible, and you just forbade all the reviews?
Hey man, listen, let's go watch Friday the 13th, all right? And we'll
I guess you're also the guy that you let your kid watch Fear Street, the second one, even though I told you shouldn't.
I did.
Yeah, there you go. So, note to those who have young children: don't watch Fear Street #2. You can skip that one. Fear Street 3, no problem. Fear Street 1, okay. Fear Street 2, questionable adult material. So, anyways, there we go. So, thank you for us to coming with us on this journey, quarter mile at a time. Please support your local stores any way possible. Buy something small, big, whatever it is. Go by the store. As we talked about before, Felix Norton, the last brick and mortar, is there. So pick up some cookies, pick up something from Heroes World. Do the ultimate combo. Grab a comic book, grab some cookies. Just make sure to wear gloves so you don't mess them up. But please do support them and continue being awesome and be safe. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you later.
See ya.